All right, so that recording is going, so you guys should have that. We will be able to post that on the YouTube page, so then if you guys want to come back and watch this, you can. But today we have Learning Target 3.2.2, which is Systems of Equations Word Problems. Can someone volunteer to read my I can statement for today? Otherwise, I will call on someone. Awesome. Thank you, Jasmine.
I can determine which system of equations matches the given context.
Thank you. I think it's an otter, Anthony. By the end of the day today, you should be able to determine which system of equations matches the given context. So we are going to actually be writing the systems. So we're going to look at word problems and we're going to write the answers. On your guys' homework tonight, you are going to just read the word problem, and then you can actually just pick which pair best matches that word problem. First, though, and you guys can just throw it in the chat, if you guys could go to the store today and didn't have any price limits, what would you guys buy? What would be your shopping list today? A lot of people seem to be buying the entire store. But if we had to buy specific items, what are we going to buy? Oh, a switch, crafts galore, and glitter. I like that. Anybody else want to tell me what you would get at the store today? Any store, wherever we're going shopping. We're going to get some basketball equipment, orange juice, and Powerade. All right, so let's do this. So we're going to have glitter and crafts. And then we're going to get some basketball equipment. We're going to get a basketball. We're going to get orange juice and Powerade. All right, so let's look at this. So if we had these, we'll say, okay, so Maddie went to the store and got one thing of glitters, 2 different crafts. And then JJ went to the store and got 2 basketballs. And Trayvon went to the store and got 1 thing of orange juice and 3 Powerades. How you could do this now is that we just looked at the information I was given and we went ahead and put it in a problem that we now can turn into like a math problem. So we could say, when we went to get all this stuff at the store, it equaled a certain amount of money. So say this one was $20, this one was $32, and this one was $8. Then you can move things around. So you could say I went to the store and I got 1 thing of glitter and 1 orange juice, and that cost $17. So so anyway, all that to say, what we're going to be doing today is taking our word problems and paring it down to different information. So we're going to take some variables in there, we're going to take some numbers, and we're going to put them into equations. Yes, this is an expensive glitter, obviously. All right, so if we look at this next one, can anyone tell me what our standard form equation is? So we use this way back in when we talked about slope. We had our 3 different slope formulas. So we had slope-intercept form, point slope form, and then we had standard form. So can someone tell me what is the equation for standard form? Can anyone tell me? Anthony, yes, that is one of the slope formulas, but that is our slope-intercept form. So does anybody remember what our standard form is? And to give you guys a hint, there are all of these variables down there that we are going to be using in it. So we have an A, B. Yeah, Sophia, you're really close. It's going to be AX plus BY equals C. So that is, yes, thank you, Jasmine. That is our standard form equation. So we're going to have AX plus BY equals C. If you guys had looked at our systems of equations that we've been using for our substitution and elimination are already in this form. So we're just going to take these new problems that we're going to make today, and we're going to make sure that they are in this same form. And again, if you're taking notes today, all you have to write is standard form and then write what our equation is here for standard form. So you don't have to write down all the words on that slide. All right, so if we look at our steps here, we have 4 different steps when looking at these equations. The first step is that we need to identify the variables. So we're going to identify our variables. That means what we're measuring. So if we are looking at glitter or orange juice or basketballs, those are all going to become variables that we can use to put into our problem. The second thing we're going to do is then put those variables together that describe the measurements of one scenario. So what that means is I'm going to have 2 different scenarios in my word problem. So say I went to the store today and I bought a water bottle and some flowers. The next day I went to the store and I bought 3 water bottles and a thing of milk. So those are going to be 2 different sets of variables that we are going to use in order to create our system of equation. Boys, please keep the chat on math stuff, please. Otherwise, I will turn it off. So after that, step 2, the third step is that we are going to write our equations in the proper format. So when we write it in the proper format, remember that is our standard form. So it's going to be in our AX plus BY equals C. So that is the proper format that we are going to write our answers in. That is all you guys need for the 2.0s. So that's where we stop for 2.0. If you want to, we will go to this 4th step, and that is our 3.0. But for today, all you guys have to know are those first 3 steps. If you can write the equation, then you're good. We're done. That's fine. But if you guys would like to go a step further, then you can use substitution or elimination to solve. So then we're going to go back to the skills that we learned last week on Monday and Wednesday, and we're going to use our substitution and our elimination to solve those problems. Do you guys have any questions before I go on to our first problem here? And you guys will have to raise your hand if you do, because I did have to turn off the chat. All right. So if we go to this first problem here, it says at the grocery store, Erin purchased 8 oranges and 3 bananas. Her total bill was $5. The next day she went back and bought 3 oranges and 1 banana, and her total was $1.85. Write a system of equation in standard form to represent the scenario. So can someone tell me, and I'll open up the chat so you guys can throw it in there, what are our variables? So what are the 2 things that we are going to write in our equation? If we look at this example here, what are our 2 variables? Yeah, Henos, you are right. It's going to be the 8 and 3 are the numbers that go with our variables, but it is what is near those. So those oranges and bananas. So our coefficients here that go in front are our 8 and our 3. But if we're looking at step number 1, our variables are oranges and bananas. And oranges are going to be O, and bananas are going to be B. So we have oranges and bananas here. And then Henno's already told us, that, and so did Maddie, that we're going to have 8 and 3 as our first numbers. So if we look here, I'm going to circle these ones in blue here. So for our first problem, we have 8 oranges. We have 3 bananas. What other number are we given for that first problem? Yeah, $5. So we have 5. Now we have to find our 2 math words. So how are we going to connect these all together? So if we look at that first sentence there, we have Erin purchased 8 oranges and 3 bananas. Her total bill was $5. Yeah, I know Scott's one of them, our total. So we're going to have an equal sign. And then what is the other word? There is one more word in there that is going to connect our bananas and our oranges. Yes, they purchased them, which means that they're going to spend money on it. But what is connecting oranges and bananas? Yeah, the and. So we have this and word here. And who remembers? Is and addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? Yeah, thank you guys. It is addition. So our final thing in that problem is addition. So that was our first problem here. What about our second sentence? So we have the next day, she went back and bought 3 oranges, 1 banana, and our total was $1.85. What information do we know from there? Yeah, we know her total. So we know that total is in there. So we know we're going to have an equal sign. 3 oranges and 1 banana. You guys are right. So we have 3. And then we have our oranges. We have 1 banana. We know her total was $1.85. So we have 3 oranges. We have 1 banana. We know the total was $1.85, which means we have an equal sign. And then again, we have this and here. So we know we're going to have a plus sign. So those, we now have finished. Thank you, Anthony. We now have finished the first 2 steps. So we just have to go on to this third step here, which is just turning this information that we now have gathered into an actual equation. So if we look back up here, we have our 8 oranges plus our 3 bananas equals 5, because it equals $5. Then our second equation was 3 oranges plus 1 banana equals $1.85. And that is it. That is all you have to do to get a 2.0 on this section, is just be able to write those 2 equations. Yes, this is going to be on the test. So before I go on to the next one, can you guys give me a feel? Are you guys at from a 1 to a 5? 1 being I'm completely confused. 5 being like, this is super easy, Mrs. Lehman, I get it. Can you guys give me a 1 to 5? Where are you on? Henos, in the 3.0 section, you might have to solve. So I'll show you on the very last equation today. We'll go through actually solving it. Awesome. I love seeing 3s, 4s, and 5s. If you're at a 3, we'll get you up to hopefully a 4 or 5 later today after we go through a couple of these. This next one, it's a little bit more complicated only because of the wording of it. So I don't want you guys to overthink it. We'll talk it through, but just be aware that it actually might be a little bit more complicated just because of the way it's worded. But I promise you it's kind of doing the same thing that's here. So if we look here, we say 2 numbers have a sum of 12 and a difference of 4. Write a system of equations which purpose could be to find the value of the 2 numbers. So for right now, we're just going to look at this first sentence. So two numbers have a sum of 12 and a difference of 4. What is our variables? What are our two variables in here? Does anyone have a guess? Jasmine, you're right that we will use that 4 and 12. And Anthony, we are going to use the sum and difference. So you guys all have picked out great words. We are going to use those. But there's one other thing that we have to know first that's going to be our variables. Yeah, Hannah's got it. It's our numbers. So these numbers are going to be our variables. So this is number 1. I'm going to label as X. And number 2, I'm going to label as Y. So those are our two numbers. Yep, they're the two that we don't know. So that's going to be what we are solving here. So then we can move on to step 2. And this is where the other information that you guys brought up is great. Because we know that they're going to have an X and a Y, because those are our two variables. So we have number 1 and number 2. And like you guys said, we have a sum of 12. So this is our first information. So we're going to have 12. And then who can tell me, what does sum mean? What math variable am I going to use there? Am I going to use addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? Yeah, we're going to add. And sum means addition, and it also means equal, because it just means that we are going to add up the two numbers to equal 12. So we're going to have addition, and then we're going to have equals. Now we'll go to what you guys had told me earlier, that we're going to look at the difference of 4 is our other option here. So we have difference of 4. So we have our X, our Y, we have 4. And then what does difference mean? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? Yeah, subtraction. So this one is subtraction and also equals. So it's telling us that when we subtract these two, we are going to get it to equal 4. So then that is what we have here. So then our final answer, again for number 3, all I have to do is put these together. So I'm going to have X plus Y equals 12, and X minus Y equals 4. So those are our two systems of equations there that we can use. And then if you guys wanted to on this one, you could do elimination, you could do substitution, whatever you would prefer to actually get an answer. Do you guys have any questions before I have you try one on your own? Awesome. All right. Then I'm going to give you guys about 3.5 minutes here. And I want you guys to just write down what those 3 steps are. All right, Trayvon, if you think of your question, feel free to ask it, and I'll be more than happy to help you. So with this, if you guys want to, just write down your 3 steps. So write down your variables, then write down everything you know about each of those different equations, and then turn it into a final equation. So just write down those 3 steps. I'm going to give you guys about 2.5 minutes here. And then once you guys are finished, if you finish before my music ends, feel free to tell me your favorite Christmas movie or your favorite holiday movie. And then I will know that you guys are all done. So go ahead and start working on this, and I will give you about a little over 2.5 minutes here.
All swallowing their coats, with scars of red dye around their throats to keep their little heads from falling in the snow. Then I turn round and there you go, and like a UFO, scars of red tie around their throats to keep their little heads from falling in the snow. Then I turn around and there you go. And like a good ball, you turn the white snow red as strawberries in the summertime.
You guys have about 30 seconds left, so keep working for about 30 more seconds here.
I was following the pack, all swallowed in their coats, with scars of red tie around their throats to keep their little heads from falling in the snow. Then I turn around and there you go. And like a good ball, they turn the white snow red as strawberries in the summertime.
Awesome. All right, so let's look at these. Also, I have not ever heard of your favorite movie, Maddie. I love the Polar Express though, and I like the Grinch. I can only take it like once or twice in a year, but I do like the Grinch as well. All right, so if we look at this, can someone tell me what our two variables are here? What is step one? Let's see. Jasmine, can you type in the chat? What are our, oh, we have two Jasmines. Jasmine Ortiz, can you type in the chat? What are our two variables for this first sentence here? Yes, you are right that we're going to look at 3 and 1. So you are absolutely correct. We are going to look at that 3 and we're going to look at the 1. But then the variables are what comes right after it. So we have our senior citizen tickets and our child tickets. But you're looking at the right thing. So we have senior citizen. And child. So senior citizen is going to be S and child tickets. And that's going to be C. All right, so we have our two variables. And then Jasmine did tell us that we are going to look at the numbers 3 and 1 for that first one. So for step 2 here, I'm going to look at, we have 3 of our senior citizen tickets. So that's our 3S. And we have 1 of our child tickets. So we have a 1C. And then what else do we know in this first one? What are our other known numbers or our known facts about this first one? Yeah, thank you, Jasmine. We know that it's going to cost us $38. We know that we have a total, which is equals. And then what is our last thing? We have one more word in there that we have to write down. Sold just means that we are like selling them, that we're getting them, getting money for them. Yes, Henos, thank you. It's this and. So remember, we have to connect our two numbers somehow. So that and is connecting our two numbers. All right, and then let's see. Jaden, can you tell me what are my numbers for that second equation? What am I going to be looking at? You can type them in the chat or you can unmute yourself. All right, Anthony, can you help us out here? What are our numbers for that second equation? Yeah, thank you. We have our 3 for our senior citizen tickets and a 2 for our child tickets. So we're going to have 3 senior citizen, 2 for child. And then our last number here, remember we have to have that 52 because that is our total. So we have our 52. And then again, we have this and that connects them. So we have a plus there. And then we have that he made $52, which is giving us our equals. So now that we have all of this information, what are we have 1 minute. It's not time to go yet. So our final equations here are 3s plus 1c equals 38, and 3s plus 2c equals 52. So those are our final answers. You guys do have homework tonight, so you do have Delta Math. If you did not finish that the other day, tonight is the last night you can do it. And you do have an equation or a practice over this. So if you guys have questions, feel free to schedule tutoring tomorrow. Otherwise, you guys are free to go. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday.